Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I made a joke about testing his boss in bed. He said the results would come in court. It started as a careless joke, or at least that's how I saw it at first. One thoughtless comment, thrown into a conversation that was already strained, spiraled into chaos I couldn't have imagined. I didn't understand then how much damage words can cause when trust is already fragile. My husband, Ethan, had been distant for weeks. Since starting his new job under his boss, Miranda, he had been mentioning her constantly, in ways that lingered like perfume. Casual stories, inside jokes, small laughs I wasn't part of, they made my chest tighten every time. I tried to brush it off, but it stung more each day. One night, after he returned home late again, I tried to lighten the mood with humor. Half smiling, I said, "Maybe I should test Miranda myself. See what kind of spell she's cast on you." He froze, staring at me like I had slapped him. His silence was louder than any words. I laughed nervously, assuming he was just tired, unaware that this one joke would unravel everything we had. The next morning, Ethan was distant. No goodbye kiss, no messages throughout the day. That evening, he sat across from me at the dinner table, expression unreadable. "So," he said flatly, "you want to test my boss?" I blinked confused, then tried to laugh. "Ethan, it was just a joke." He didn't smile. He leaned forward and said, "Good. Because she told HR you tried to seduce her." My heart stopped. "What?" I whispered, thinking he was joking, but his expression left no room for doubt. He explained that Miranda had overheard part of our argument on speakerphone and somehow twisted my sarcasm into something inappropriate. Now Ethan's job and our lives were at risk. First, I thought he was overreacting. Then he showed me the email. HR had scheduled an internal investigation. My stomach churned. Somehow, my joke had become a formal accusation. Ethan didn't defend me. He only looked disappointed, as if I had confirmed every suspicion he ever had about me. I tried to explain that it was sarcasm, that I'd never intended harm. He only said, "You've embarrassed me." That night, silence filled the house. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying that one stupid line over and over in my mind, wondering why I had let insecurity and jealousy masquerade as humor. 2 days later, everything worsened. Ethan's company suspended him for alleged misconduct, pending review. Miranda claimed I had been sending cryptic messages through Ethan's phone, provoking her. I hadn't, but the damage was irreversible. Ethan returned home that day with a letter in hand. He threw it on the table. "You've ruined me," he said quietly. "Do you even realize what you've done?" Before I could answer, he grabbed his jacket and left. For 3 weeks, I lived in a void. He ignored my calls. His family stopped speaking to me. Even my friends looked at me with doubt in their eyes. I told them the accusations were false, but it didn't matter. The whispers were already shaping reality. I lost sleep, lost appetite. Our home, once warm and full of laughter, felt like a haunted shell. Every room echoed with absence. My attempts to explain myself were futile. Ethan wouldn't hear me. Then, one morning, a legal notice arrived. Ethan was filing for divorce, claiming defamation and emotional cruelty. He alleged that I had deliberately sabotaged his career out of jealousy. I stood frozen, trembling. This was no longer a marriage ending. It had become a battlefield. I called him, desperation in my voice. "Are you serious? You're suing me." "You joked about sleeping with my boss," he said coldly. "She filed a harassment claim. I lost my job. How is that funny?" Then he hung up. That was the last time we spoke directly. After that, lawyers handled everything. The divorce terms were merciless. Half the house, the car, even the dog. I wanted to fight, but I had nothing left. Friends suggested countersuing Miranda for defamation, but how could I prove a joke, said in private, had been twisted? Courts didn't care about intent. They only cared about consequence. The hearing lasted 10 minutes. The judge ruled in Ethan's favor. After the divorce, I moved into a small apartment. The quiet there was heavy, oppressive, a constant reminder of what I'd lost. I replayed that night endlessly, the laugh, the careless words, the fatal joke. I wished I could go back and stop myself, but time doesn't bend to regret. Words once spoken echo forever. Months later, I heard Miranda had resigned after being caught falsifying expense reports. Justice perhaps, but too late for me. Ethan never returned. I saw him once in a cafe with someone new. Relaxed, smiling, at peace. I almost said hello, but the memory of his eyes that night, filled with hurt and disgust, stopped me. I couldn't intrude on his happiness. Sometimes I scroll through old photos of us, birthdays, vacations, lazy Sundays. In every image we are smiling, unaware of how fragile love can be under the weight of words. I used to think marriages ended through betrayals, secrets, or affairs. Now I know they can crumble from something smaller. A careless sentence, a misguided laugh, a moment of pride. If I could speak to that version of myself, I would say, stop hiding behind sarcasm. Speak your insecurities. Admit your jealousy. Be honest. Because I wasn't brave that night. I was scared. I thought a joke would cover it. Instead, it tore everything apart. Now I measure every word. Every laugh, every tease, every sarcastic remark carries the weight of memory. Love is fragile. And sometimes, the joke you think is harmless can become the story that destroys the life you cherished most.